I like flags. Who doesn't like flags? Flags are really cool. But what do flags have to do with the sport of rugby union football? Well, if you attend any game, you'll see supporters brandishing their team flags, and sometimes those flags are really ugly. The main reason this video exists is because the Bath flag, in particular, is a pet peeve of mine. For you see, it is hideous. It's brandished with the Bath Rugby logo, the ugly one where you can't really read it very well because the colours, and the one that has the trademark in the corner. And that in itself would be fine, but also it has sponsors on it. The flag is covered with Dyson logos. No, no, I said, this won't do. It simply violates all the basic rules of good flag design. Flags should have simple or minimalistic designs, have symbolic meanings, have small amounts of basic colours, and above all, no letterings and no corporate sponsors. So I decided to go ahead and design my own Bath flag following these simple rules. Rather than just plopping a logo on a banner and calling it a day, what if I used certain elements of the badge to create an authentic looking flag, as if Bath Rugby was its own little nation state? But then I thought, what the hell, let's just do this for every single Premiership Rugby Club. Starting with the obvious, Bath. Apparently, it's impossible to find a decent render of the Bath Rugby badge online. Like, I'm serious, I spent a long time looking, and everything is of low quality, and I don't understand why. Every single image I find is a bit pixelated, and it is driving me bananas. The best one I could find is this one of the older and the better badge, but that's it. So that's the one I used. But keep in mind, it does look a bit low quality still, and I am sorry for that. And no, I didn't have this problem with any other team. Bath was, however, probably the easiest flag to actually design. They already have a flag, which is just the Estonian flag with a slightly different shade of blue, and the black and white swapped around to make it distinct. So, removing the outer part of the Bath badge and applying the crest to the flag, you get this. Now, yes, I mentioned how good flags shouldn't have lettering, which is true, so the fact that there are numbers on there should, in theory, be a problem, but I don't know, I think it looks okay in this instance. Bath have one of the better badges in the Premiership, one that is timeless and classic but also pops really well. It ticks all the boxes. It doesn't feel like a corporately created logo, so translating that onto a flag wasn't too difficult. It works. For some of the others, it was a bit more of a challenge. Bristol. The Bristol Bears logo is one of the better modern redesigns. For Bristol, I created not one, not two, not four, but three different designs, all of which are pretty simple. But you kind of need simplicity if you have a giant bear on the head of your flag. So the first one is my least favorite. You have three equal pillars, two of them the darker Bristol blue, and a center pillar which matches Bristol's tertiary color, seen in the eyes of the bear. But I didn't like how smushed it looked when you have a giant bear in the center. So I adopted the Canada approach and created a big center space with a Brizzle Dizzle mascot. It has the same color pattern as the one before, and yeah, it's solid. I also created an alternative version, this time with the same silver as the bear fur, which I also kind of dig. Let me know which is your favorite. Exeter Chiefs. I started very simple with Exeter. I had two black pillars at the top and a plain yellow background to make the Chiefs symbol really pop. I like how it looks. It looks stoic and peaceful, if a little boring. But for the second design, I decided to implement the yellow circle you see on the actual Chiefs logo more into the design. And this is what I came up with. I actually really like how this one looks. I think it's the best one I've made so far. It's the most official looking design of the bunch. I really like it. Gloucester. I struggled with this one initially because, in my humble opinion, Gloucester have the worst badge in the Premiership. It feels so corporate and it's so similar to Leicester's, and although lion symbols have generally been associated with the club in the past, it doesn't feel like, I don't know, genuine. Bristol may have completed a complete U-turn in terms of rebranding to the Bears, but they went all in and fully embraced it, and it works. They are the Bristol Bears. It's their brand. It stands out. You don't really question it anymore. This rebranding has always felt a bit lazy to me by comparison. It doesn't really feel like Gloucester to me, but I'm not a Gloucester fan, so if I'm, sounding crazy, tell me in the comments. But regardless, I did go their current design, and it was hard to incorporate the lion with the cherry and white stripes without it looking jarring. My initial design was far too Imperial Japan for my liking, but I did end up quite happy with this one. You have the cherry and white stripes on the side with the lion's head on the red background on the other. I like it. I think it pops. I think it does a decent job representing the club. It's pretty good. Harlequins. I'll keep this one short. You don't need to do much with Quins. You just, you have the full colours in your set. You don't even need the logo. These colours stand alone and tell you everything you need to know about the club's identity. These are the Harlequin colours. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's a great design. Moving on. Leicester. This one will also be pretty brief because it's so self-explanatory. Essentially, I just translated Leicester's existing badge into flag form, and bing bong bash, here's the result. I wouldn't be surprised if this is already the official flag for Leicester. It's pretty self-explanatory. It does the job. It looks neat. Moving on. Newcastle. This one sucked. I kid you not. There were at least 21 different designs I went through for this. Only 3 I actually saved. Trying to make a distinct flag was really difficult when it comes to this club, and I think that comes down to the logo. It just looks a bit awkward, and the black doesn't pop very well in flag form, especially when you're trying to make it feel authentically like a Newcastle flag. Newcastle's colours are historically green and white, with the black being a modern addition, so I tried to incorporate all 3 of them. So here's the 3 designs that I will share. This monstrosity is the initial result, and it's hideous. It's appalling, and I don't think I need to explain why. It just doesn't work well as a flag. The second is a slight improvement, but still, I don't think it's very good. And lastly, we have one that I am happy with, or, at least I was initially. So I inadvertently ended up plagiarizing the Pakistan flag and putting a postmodern falcon onto it and changing the shade of green. And it looks good. You have the 3 main colors represented, and it's simplistic and the logo pops, and it's a good design, albeit one that I kind of inadvertently ripped off. Not that it was my intention to, I only realized after the fact, but yeah, it was my best effort, and on its own, I think it looks pretty good. Northampton Saints. Since the Saints are rebranding soon, it's a good time to be doing this video. Their crest is a bit out of date, but it works well when making a flag. Pretty simple really, take away the writing, put the shield in the center, add the colours, and you got your flag. And it looks good, it looks like a medieval Germanic state, proper good flag. Sail. Sail's logo doesn't really work well for a flag, it just looks a bit silly. Sail FC with the classic symbol would make a much better flag. This one not so much. This is the best I could do. It's a bit bland. I didn't want to just put the shark on a plain blue background, but maybe that would have been an update. Maybe it would have been better, Sail have a limited color palette as it is, so the best thing I can say is that it does feel authentically like a sail flag, but it's not my favorite. It's probably the worst one on this list. Saracens. Saracens already have a solid flag design, so I didn't want to mess with it too much. I kept the theming of most of their existing flags and just kind of added their crest to the center. Again, not much to say about this one. I think it looks pretty neat. You get what it's going for. It represents Saracens quite well. It looks good. It fits the bill. And that's it. So to recap, here's all the flags. Bath, Bristol 1, Bristol 2, Bristol 3, Exeter 1, Exeter 2, Gloucester 1, Gloucester 2, Quins, Tigers, Newcastle 1, 2, and 3, Saints, Sale, and Sarries. Some of these flags are better than the others. It's easier for some teams to make flags for than others, but I think some of these are pretty good. I'm quite happy with some of these. I hope you enjoyed this different sort of video. Let me know what flag was your favorite. This has been Rugby Recitation. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.